to my channel. Yes, today's Thursday and we get to hear Crooked Trigger's thoughts again, this time on Reacher show on Amazon Prime. But let's start with greetings. Hello, my name is Daniel. I'll be your host. Here.
Guy in the chair.
He said it! He said it!
And today, yes, we're gonna hear the Critical Trigger's thoughts on the Reacher Amazon Prime. I watched it, I liked it, but that's just me. So, enjoy.
Holy shit! If I told you that a TV show about a huge, muscle-bound, emotionally guarded, and absolutely badass male protagonist who wanders into a small town and kicks the shit out of anyone who crosses him would somehow be produced by Amazon Video in 2022, you'd probably say, "Drinker, you handsome paragon of manly virtue, how could such a thing be allowed to exist without the message?" Well, I don't pretend to know how this one slipped through the cracks without getting pumped full of all the usual garbage that drags down most entertainment properties these days, but however the fuck it happened, I'm glad it did. Because Reacher is a good fucking show that's mostly faithful to the source material, unlike the Tom Cruise movies, provides a solid mystery for the audience to piece together, and plenty of hard-hitting action and snappy dialogue to cap the whole thing off. The show begins when former military cop Jack Reacher arrives in the small Georgian town of Margrave for no other reason than because one of his favourite jazz musicians grew up there and he wants to go and see the place. That's pretty much how this guy rolls. He just freewheels across America, going wherever the notion takes him. Sounds like a pretty good fucking life now that I think about it. Anyway, he's just settling down to lunch when he gets arrested for murder and thrown in jail, where his fellow prisoners inexplicably try to take him out. Clearly someone doesn't want him asking too many questions. Needless to say, he quickly shows them the error of their ways and manages to clear his name, but not before discovering that one of the murder victims was his own brother, Joe. And well, Reacher's solution is simple.
Kill every last one of them.
From then on, his mission is to discover what his brother was doing in Margrave, why he was murdered, and why the local police and politicians are trying to cover the whole thing up. Along the way, he teams up with a jaded Boston detective and a local PD officer who also happens to be hot as fuck. Damn, she can arrest me any day. Anyway, his investigations eventually uncover a web of conspiracies and corruption stretching from local business tycoons to the police force and government. The deeper he digs, the further the rot extends. But how far does it go, and who can he really trust? Much like its main character, Reacher's the kind of show that unfolds very much at its own pace. It's a slow-burning mystery that reveals things when it's goddamn good and ready, rather than a fast-paced action thriller that's desperate to impress. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's all punctuated by moments of explosive violence that are solidly directed and actually feel like they have a bit of weight behind them. When a guy the size of Reacher hits you, you fucking know about it, and the show doesn't try to hide that fact. But the interesting thing is we actually get to see Reacher using his brains instead of his fists most of the time, putting together clues, questioning witnesses, following leads and testing out theories. It's a detective story basically, except this detective looks like he could take on Dwayne Johnson and fucking win. Reacher's got a deep understanding of human behaviour and how the world around him functions, and he uses that to predict everything from timescales to movement patterns, decision-making, and likely next moves. One of his biggest strengths is his almost autistic ability to notice details that other people miss, details that often make the difference between uncovering a promising lead and running into a brick fucking wall.
3 men dropped this body.
Enlighten me.
Shooter was someone who knows firearms well. Bullets were small caliber, 9mm, 95 grain, that's subsonic. A silencer was used. He also knew enough to pick up his brass. This wasn't a first-timer. This was someone who knew how to conduct a quiet, effective kill.
He's certainly not infallible, and there's times when he fails to put things together quickly enough, but he's smart, motivated, brutal, and absolutely relentless. Also, I love when he just fucking ignores people that he decides aren't worthy of his time. Like, this guy's not even gonna waste his breath on you unless you can help him. And hats off to the producers for their casting choices here. Unlike the movies that tried to shoehorn an aging big-name actor into a role he was completely unsuited to, the showrunners here were smart enough to go with a guy that actually looks and acts the part. I mean, I respect Tom Cruise as an actor, and you can't fault his work ethic, but no amount of hard work is going to make him a foot taller and 15 years younger. Alan Ritchson, on the other hand, is pitch perfect as Reacher. He's cold, calculating, and methodical when he wants to be, but he's also brutal, violent, and ruthless when he needs to be. goofy. It's not often he lets his guard down around other people, but there's moments when he allows a little bit of charm and personality to shine through. And yeah, it doesn't hurt that the dude's built like a brick shithouse. What's weird is that I actually found myself liking this version of Reacher way more than the book version, who I always found to be a total personality vacuum, a bit of a self-insert wankfest for the author, and so fucking distant that I never had the slightest clue who he was. Yeah, this version's definitely more chatty than his book counterpart, which I guess is the trade-off you have to make when you can't show a character's inner monologue, but generally he comes across more like an actual real human being instead of a fucking Terminator killing time between missions. The supporting cast round things out pretty well. Malcolm Goodwin and Willa Fitzgerald both do a good job investing their characters with a bit of depth and humour to balance out the mostly serious and restrained Reacher. I mean, they do seem weirdly okay with a total outsider inserting himself into an official police investigation, and it really strains my suspension of disbelief when he straight up admits to killing people, but whatever. They both get moments to shine, and the more you learn about them, the more interesting and fleshed out they become. But what's really important is that they're never allowed to outshine the protagonist. The show's called Reacher for a reason, and it never forgets that. Jesus, I can only imagine what kind of disaster this show would have been if it had come out on Netflix. Finlay and Roscoe would have probably spent the whole season leading Reacher from place to place, saving his arse, solving all the clues for him, and rolling their eyes at his constant displays of toxic masculinity. God, I hate modern writing. Honestly, this show feels like forbidden fruit somehow today. I don't know, man, maybe the author had creative control locked into his contract this time around, so they couldn't fuck with his creation. Sorry, adapt it for modern audiences. Either way, despite the modern setting, it really feels like a story that came out of the late 90s era of thriller writing, which ironically enough is exactly what it is. The Killing Floor that it's based on was written in 1997. A violent, gritty, hard-hitting story with a smart, kick-ass male protagonist who isn't intimidated by other people, who keeps his feelings to himself and doesn't let people close to him. Punchy, insightful dialogue that gets to the fucking point and doesn't try to inject goofy humor at every turn. An actual mystery that requires a logical, methodical approach to solve, instead of following an obvious trail of clues from one generic set piece to the other. If Reacher represents some kind of quaint throwback to a different era of storytelling, then fucking sign me up. I'm up for it, that's for damn sure. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Hey guys, I hope y'all like with that. I enjoyed Reacher, that's for sure. Not the Tom Cruise, even the Tom Cruise version was entertaining. But this one, wow. I'm talking, it was a lot of action. It wasn't drawn out by the message. But it was very good, well done. And it seemed like the Crooked Drinker really liked it too. But still, I hope you like what you saw. You come back and you want to see more of my little rants and stuff. But don't forget to like it, then comment down below, and then finally subscribe. And hit the notification bell to be notified every time I post a new video and share. Bye!